Well, today's episode is going to be a very fun one. If you guys are not fans of the Japanese wrestling, then you guys are missing out. But if you guys are fans of the Japanese wrestling scene, well, today's episode is going to feature all of that. First, we're going to talk about the latest ChocoPro event, number 288, also is dubbed as Masahiro Takanashi's 40th birthday. So his match will be the main event against Hagane Shino. If you guys know who that is, he showed up in AEW Dark a few times, and he's been one of the constant regulars in ChocoPro many times over, and also in various promotions in DDT and very other places. And as you know, New Japan Pro Wrestling started the New Beginning Tour in Nagoya, featuring the main event, the KOPW title in a MMA style match between the Great Okan taking on the champion Shingo Tagagi, which is going to be good. And we also got some preview matches that could lead to the upcoming support New Beginning events in Sapporo and very other places. And of course, we end the reviews by talking about Pro Wrestling Noah, the Great Boot, the Great Muta's final. Bye bye. That's right, folks. We will never see the Great Muta again. He will be heading back to the demon world where he belongs. But this show was unbelievably awesome. I loved it. So we'll be talking about that. And of course, we got some news updates. We definitely got to be sharing what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So let's begin with Choco Pro 288. This is also dubbed as Masahiro Takanashi's 40th birthday. So it opened up with Chiko Ishikawa. I have no idea what she's saying, but at the same time, we did see the birthday boy make an appearance, giving his thought. But he also had a surprise visit by Miyako Haru, who is an agent of Uma, of the Uma Army. If you guys remember them, Masa and Chris took care of some of their members. But it was interesting to see them show up. So there'll be a lot more about Masa. He will be in the main event against Hagane Shino. Our first opening match, we have tag team action, intergender tag match. We have Saki from Colors teaming up with Gota Ihashi, taking on Sayaka Obihiro and Ken Oka. Now, this particular match, you probably would have thought in a way it could have any kind of twist. It does. At some point, I don't know, Ihashi actually went out of his mind, started going out of control, even beating the crap out of Saki as well. But of course, there's a moment when enough is enough. Deal with the guy, take him out. But of course, in the process, Saki helped Sayaka and Kenoka to deal with him because he was really out of his mind. So basically, everyone won except for Ihashi. So I thought it was really funny that it ended that way. Our next match we have Yasu Ironi teaming up with Masanumi. They take on against Antonio Hanna and Chris Brooks. Now, to be fair, I thought in this particular match it was going to end with Antonio Honda and Chris winning the match. Nope, it wasn't in that way. I thought it was going to go in a direction that possibly was made sense for me since they are like the regulars that show up. Normally, the outsiders don't pick up the win, but in this case, it was Yasu who, in fact, put Antonio Honda in a submission, forcing him to tap out while Chris Brooks was helpless trying to get to him until it was too late. Now, our main event is none other than Masahiro Takanashi taking on Hagane Shino. These two have come across each other on various occasions, and of course, in ChocoPro and various other locations. But it seems like a very intense match. Basically, they're about the same age, but the real question is who is going to reign supreme in this? Will it be the birthday boy or the challenger? But it was a very tough battle. I mean, a lot of submissions, pinfalls, taking it outside. Anything could have happened, but it was, of course, Hagane with the Ranhi giving him the win. But you probably can guess that Takanashi's not too thrilled how this match ended since it was his birthday, but it fell into favor that way. But yeah. Now, for our Junkin tournament, I would have thought in this particular thing that Masahiro the Masa was going to win because it is his birthday. It would have been more sense, but it didn't. He got eliminated in the semifinal rounds. Now I thought Chris Brooks was going to pick up the slack and win the chocolate for Masa, but no, he got eliminated by in the semifinals by Miya Yotsuba. But it took only Miya Matsuba with the one against I think it was him who won. But however, Mia decided, give the chocolate to Masa since he is his birthday. So it ended, as I say, well, it ends well. I don't know how they say it, but yes. So he got the chocolate instead. But it was a good show. I think it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed every most. So let's move on right now to New Japan Pro Wrestling, New Beginning in Nagoya. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling, the New Beginning in Nagoya. This took place recently today. Well, it opened up with, of course, the Young Lions taking the stage. We have Oscar Lebo, I think that's his name, with Yuto Nakashima. They take on Togi Makabe and Toru Yano. Now, keep in mind, these two guys are familiar with each other because, as you remember, Yano was a member of the Great Heel Bash before he turned on him and sided with none other than Shinsuke Nakamura. But in this case, when it comes to facing Young Lions, they teach these guys a very strong lesson because, of course, if you guys know Makabe, he is one of the most dangerous competitors in the ring. But it did face off. We all thought, in a way, that this was going to end with him putting one of these guys in a Boston Crab. No, it was, of course, um, Nakashima, who ended up on the wrong side of the King Kong leg drop and went having Makabe and Yano pick up the win. Now, our next match, this was a very interesting one. We have to- Tomoaki Hamna, El Desperado, Minoru Suzuki, and Ren Narita teaming up, taking on all four members of House of Torture. We're talking about Dek Togo, Sho, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil. But the one thing that was very interesting, Togi Makabe has dealt with Minoru Suzuki over the years, but it was strange that somehow Minoru Suzuki decided to put that to pass. But because what's been going on recently, we've been seeing that Minoru Suzuki has an interest in Ren Narita. Now we don't know what that is, but the match was pretty good. But you know for a fact that somewhere down the line, we're gonna see House of Torture with their usual tricks, using the garage, the wrench. None of that worked in their favor. It was, of course, uh, Ren Narita with the Cobra twist onto to Dick Togo, having him to tap out and giving them the win. However, at the end of the match, Minoru Suzuki actually gave a fist bump to Hamna, and Hamna acknowledges. But in the end, he called out the House of Torture, saying that they will challenge them for the never open weight 6-man tag team titles. Now, they didn't bring those belts with them. They have no desire to try to defend them, but one way or the other, the New Japan Pro Wrestling's matchmakers will have to make this match take place. It has to be, but if they don't do it, well, there's the possibility it could be stripped. So we'll see what happens then. Now our next match We have TMDK, Kosa Fujita, who is the newest member, aligned himself with Shane Hayes, Mikey Nichols, and Zack Sabre Jr., taking on Rohi Oiwa, along with the members of Chaos, Tomohari Hishu, Shimon, consistent of Yoshihashi and Goto. However, this particular match is also another preview. Now, keep in mind, Nichols and Hayes have issued a challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles, while Ishii issued a challenge for Zack Sabre Jr.'s title, the IWGP World Television title. So that aligned. But Rohit Iwa and Kosa Fujita have been, rivals in the dojo many times over. But however, Zack Sabre Jr. had room for only one person that he wanted, and that was Fujita. And I thought it was pretty interesting. So it looks more like Fujita is now embracing the TMDK lifestyle. I thought the match was pretty solid, but however, the obvious thing is, will this fall in favor of TMDK in the upcoming events? Possibly, but in this case, it was Shane Hayes who picked up the win when he took out Oiwa, giving the win to TMDK. Next up, we got the Bullet Club, Taiji Shimori, El Fantasma, and Kenta taking on Master Wato, Yado, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. You probably guessed this match was going to be a little different. I didn't feel anything buzz on this one that much, but in this case, it was sudden death by El Fantasma onto Yado, giving them the win. Our next match, we have Doiki, Yoshi Kanemaru, and Taichi, along with Taka Michinoku, also known as Just Four Guys. They take on the members of the United Empire, Aaron Hinare, Francesco Cara, and Will Ospreay. As you know, right now, Taichi and Will Ospreay have been butting heads lately. I feel like ever since the disbandment of Minoru Suzuki, I feel that Taichi is trying to take making a name for himself on the spite of Will Ospreay's, out of his own benefit. I don't think Ospreay likes that one too bit. But basically, it was a pretty good match. However, we were supposed to have TJP involved, but no, he couldn't make it. But we are expecting that somewhere down the line that Doiki and Kanemaru will be challenging for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. But in this case, it was a hidden blade by a very calculated move with Francesco Cara that allowed for Will Ospreay to take out Doiki. 1, 2, 3 is over. So that kind of sets in. Now, our next match, we have LIJ members Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Sanada, and Naito. They take on Shota Umino, Ryusuke Taguchi, and the members of Chaos, Sho and Kaguchika Okada. Now, keep in mind, this match has been more of a preview where Shota Umino has been trying to get the attention of Naito, try to set up a match against him, even though Naito doesn't seem like he wants to acknowledge it. But he had no other choice but to do that. But in this case, it was Umino who picked up the win by applying the Death Rider onto Bushi, giving him the win. So the obvious thing is, Will Naito finally gave him the match is a possibility. Our main event is, of course, the KOPW championship. Shingo Takagi will make his first defense against the Great Okan in a MMA style match, which is unfamiliar territory for him. But it was a very intensified match in this one between these two guys. You know that if Khan wins this match, he wins it for the glory of the United Empire. But in this case, you cannot deny the strength and, of course, the power of Shingo, who refuses to quit no matter what goes on. But it took at least a chokehold to put away Khan and put him to sleep. But of course, Khan had no clue what happened until he woke up, realizing that he lost. But in the end, it was Shingo who actually gave a promo acknowledging what's been going on, and not to mention calling out Okada, since he will be facing him for the IWGP World title. So that is something that we're definitely going to see. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So let's move on with our last review, Pro Wrestling Noah's The Great Muta's Final. Bye-bye. Okay, Pro Wrestling Noah, Great Muta's final bye bye. I have to say, I wanted to save this last because I know I'm a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, not going to deny that. But Noah with this event was awesome. I have to say, it was a pretty good show. I enjoyed every moment of it. Our opening match would start out with Kongo, consisting of Hiroki and Hajime Ohara taking on the Noah Junior regulars, Seki Yoshiaki and Atsushi Kotoge. I thought this match was pretty good because we know that Hajime used to be a member of one of them, but now he's with Kongo. But in this case, it was, of course, a a big splash by none other than Hiroki onto Yoshioka, giving them the win. So it was a pretty good, solid win, but I enjoyed it. Now, our next match, this is, of course, the first time ever we're seeing Yoshi wrestlers taking big part of a big event like this one. Now, there has been a moment we have seen Yoshi wrestlers in a self-produced show made by Nosawa Run Guy in Corkin Hall late last year in December. That did not count, but that was something special that they throw in. But this one is big because this was a produced show by Noah. That one was under the Pro Wrestling Noah banner, but produced by Nosawa Run Guy. We have team number one, Mayo Hiki, formerly of Ice Ribbon. Then you got Surumi Natsu, her tag partner. You may know her from Odatai. Their opponents is some people you may know. We have Sayori Inui, who you know as one of the best freelance wrestlers of today. And of course, her partner is someone you guys are familiarized with stardom. We're talking about Jungle Kiona. That match was great. I think they put on a good performances. But how this was going to play out, I have to say it was great. But you can tell like the bitter of the rivalry that took place from back in the day between Surumi Natsu and Jungle Kiona was reignited, and that kind of felt in that sense. I know because Surumi Natsu saw Jungle Kiona at the Nomads event, the second one that took place last year, but we haven't seen the Nomad show since then. But we'll find out soon. In this case, it was Jungle Kiona with with the Kiona Buster onto Surumi Natsu the win. Now, I want to speak to you guys about something that transpired after this match with the Yoshi wrestlers. Joan Kiona made a fantastic idea that she wants to have Pro Wrestling Noah to initiate. We have recently been seeing developments going around with many of the promotions, such as New Japan and All Japan. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, All Japan Pro Wrestling has started with the IWGP Women's Championship. And of course, we have Kairi. And of course, All Japan Pro Wrestling are developing some women wrestlers in their camp. We haven't seen them launched yet, but it's been talked about. But Joan Kiona decided, since New Japan has the IWGP Women's Championship, why not have a GHC Women's Championship? And I saw the look on Saori Inoi, Mayuhiki, and Surumi Natsu's reactions, and they love the idea. Now, I will make a discussion video talking about this. I know some of you are going to say a different thing, and I get it, and I will explain a whole lot more on that. So stand by for that because I thought about it since hearing this. Now, our next match we have Masaaki Mochizuki taking on Timothy Thatcher. This was a very technical match in from what I can tell. It was a good solid one with Timothy Thatcher, but it was of course with the Fujiwara armbar that sealed the deal for him to walk out as the winner. Next match we have Yatsukata Yano, Alejandro, and Junta Miyawaki taking on Nosawa Rangai, Eita, and Yoshinobu Ogawa. Now, Ogawa, Eita, and Nosawa, we don't know what's the deal between all three of them because we know that Eita and Rangai had teamed up in the past, but they were in a war with Ogawa. So How's this gonna end? I don't know. But in this case, it was a disqualification by Ron Guy and Eita when they removed Alejandro's mask. You know how that is. That's a disqualification. They even took the mask with them to the backstage. So very unfortunate. Our next match we have Yoshioka Inamura with Daiki Inaba and Masa Kitamiya. They take on a new unit that was formed recently. Good looking guys consistent of Jake Lee, who just recently made the jump from All Japan to Pro Wrestling Noah. He teams up with Jack Morris and Anthony Green. And I have to say they did a pretty good job in this particular match. But in this case, Jake Lee was the one who picked up the win when he applied like a big boot um onto Inamura, and it was over right from there. So looks like we're gonna see great things coming from good looking guys, or let's call it GLG for short. Our next match is a GHC martial arts rules match between Hideki Suzuki and um Kazushi Sakuraba. I have to say it was a very interesting matchup because these guys do have technical experiences with submissions, but it was of course the triangle lancer by Sakuraba onto Suzuki. He just passed out. It was over. But of course Suzuki had no clue what happened until he came to realize what just transpired. So it was pretty good. I liked it. Next match, they call this a rise to the sky high. We have Dante Leon with Yohei and KZ. They take on Ninja Mac, Amukuza, and Ultimo Dragon, being accompanied by Sonny Ono, who we haven't seen in years. I have to say it was a fun match. But however, Sonny Ono will not take any crap from KZ, who's acting like the newer generation, telling guys like Ono that he needs to get the hell out of this. This is not his business, but Ono was not going to take that crap one way or the other from KZ, but he learned his lesson. But in this case, it was Ninja Mac who picked up the win when he applied a somewhat of a Phoenix Splash match onto him, and boom, it was onto who was it? Onto Yohei. It was over right from there. Next match, we have a bit of an interesting match. We have a 8-man tag match. Team number 1 representing Congo. We have Monoba Soya, Katsu Funaki, Katsuhiko Nakajima, and Keno taking on our current champions. First up, we have Satoshi Kojima and Takashi Sugiura, our current GHC Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Then we got Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., who is our current GHC National Champion, and of course, our current GHC Heavyweight Champion, Kiyomiya. You probably guessed this was going to be a good match, regardless how we thought. But in this case, it was a moonsault by Wagner onto Soya Manabu that picked up the win. I thought it was a really fun match. Enjoyed. Now, our next match is our main event. It features Naomichi Marufuji, Akira, and Akushi taking on Darby Allin, Sting, and the Great Muta. What a believable story. It was more of a nightmarish dark tale in this way. Like, will Akushi get his revenge against against the Great Muta? I think that tells us like a very fantastic story. But in this case, it was Akushi who picked up the loss when he got first a Scorpion Death drop, and then of course the Coffin drop, and then finally the Shining Wizard by Muta picking up the win. But right in the end, in the post match, you saw that he used the Muta grab a bit of a stick to mark the grave of Akushi. So Akushi is now haunted forever. I thought it was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. Um, it's kind of sad that Muta is gone, but we cannot forget his human side. Keiji Muta will have his final match on the 21st of February. So hopefully we get to see that and review that. But for now, we're done with reviewing, so let's move on to our final thing, news updates. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, welcome to our news updates. First things first, we want to give congratulations to Rocky Romero on winning the NWA Welterweight Championship. He defeated Volador Jr. People would have assumed this was going to put their hair on the line, but Rocky Romero said he refuses to do that, so he is now the new champion. I'm sure we're going to see that title in New Japan and possibly in other locations, but we'll just wait and see what happens then. Now, I did mention before that we have the natural vibes from Dragon Gate, consistent of KZ and Big Boss Shimizu. Well, Big Boss Shimizu has been announced that he will be in a match against the number one contender for the um, Garden State Openweight Championship, Robert Martyr. I think this is going to be a good challenge for Robert Martyr. He's in for a great treat and a good opponent that he's bigger than him, but we'll see what happens then. Now, WWE has this one was reported by Fightful. WWE has been discussing on bringing back the AOP and Paul Ellering. Now, a lot of people had a surrounding criticism over why would WWE just let them go. I know they're since the regime of Triple H that he wants to bring back wrestlers that were let go by Vince. I think this is going to be an interesting thing. Now, it's no 100% confirmed yet, but if it is, congratulations. I know the last thing the AOP tried to do was to open up their own promotion in the UK. There was some bad problems that took place, but not bad, but more like circumstances that didn't allow them to have it. So we'll see what happens. Now, speaking when I was reviewing New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah, as you guys remember what happened in Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Yokohama Arena, there was that big the fight between both Okada and Kiyomiya. It was announced on the New Japan during New Beginning and in how to say in the Great Muta Final Bye Bye that Kiyomiya and Kazuchika Okada will meet up at the 21st of February during the Keiji Muto Last Love show. However, Kiyomiya seems very excited for this, but not Okada. He says that he won't do it. He said there was no discussion whatsoever for this match to happen. So this is going to be interesting to hear. So we'll find out what happens then. Now, our final update. This was a very interesting development. Every promotion in Japan has been announcing this. This company called Life Enjoyment Convenience, or LEC, they are presenting the All Star Junior 2020 Festival. Now, I don't know if this is in relations to what Daisuke Urada was talking about. He wanted to have an event that will be taking place in all for junior heavyweight competitors all over Japan. This will take place in March, and of course, the venue they've chosen for this event to take place will be in Corkin Hall. So there's no indication who will participate, but I'm sure there's a long list of wrestlers who are junior heavyweight competitors will make it through. I can think of few in New Japan that could go, and also from Noah, but that's going to be exciting to hear. So I think that's pretty much it what we have. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we got AEW Dark Elevation. Now, for the upcoming events, I have not seen the latest GCW events. I will do those as a priority since I got many GCW fans or subscribers who enjoy the reviews. So I'll be doing those instead. Uh, I'll keep you guys apprised what I'm going to do. Like I said earlier, I will be doing a discussion video talking about the possibilities of the GHC Women's Championship that Jungle Kino pitched, and also be doing a Unagi Sayaka watch with her recent progress that's been going on, both specifically in Diana and in Marvelous recently. So, and also the developments that she's been doing. So I think that's pretty much it what I'm going to be doing. So I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.